Well, welcome everyone. I'm James. This is Nature's Outdoor School. Today's episode is on survival and how you can make it back healthy and alive if you find yourself in a survival situation. So I looked up SAR, search and rescue. I wanted to find out how many people have to be rescued every year in the United States. And that includes on the land and on water, from the air. I was amazed, up to 100,000 people. Now that sounds like a big figure. Of course, there's millions of people in the outdoors at any one time. That's still pretty amazing. What's the most common thing for getting lost, disorientated? Well, bad weather, get injured, too much confidence, lack of equipment, lack of experience. And when you get in that position, you should sit down. If you're in a situation where you're going to get, you can't find your way around that, you have to sit down, relax, and do your three fives, as they call them. And that is 5 deep breaths. So you sit down, breathe in, hold it for about 10 seconds and let it out. 5 of those. Then look into your environment. What do you see out there? 5 things. Name them. How about 5 sounds? What do you hear out there? And what this tends to do is center you and put you in the moment and take your mind and focuses it. Because if you don't, your mind's going to be saying, what if I don't make it out of here and all that. And you'll start moving around quicker and quicker. In fact, looking for your path, your way out of there. You might get in a worse situation just doing that. And there's people that tell where they're going and how long they'll be there until they come out. And then there's people that don't say anything. They just go and do what they're doing and don't even think about being rescued. I mean, who goes out there and thinks, today I'm going to get rescued anyway? And what's surprising about the statistics is the majority of people lost are in national parks, national forests. And there's so many people around. But they get into a place and they'll say, oh, if I take this path, I'll get away from the crowds. If I just go down, there's a lake down there I know about. Someone told me if I just go an hour and a half away, I think I'll go down there. They take some water, maybe a sandwich or two or whatever, and they head out. Then they get down there, they have a fishing pole, good fishing, and they start to come back up, and they're looking around, it doesn't look familiar. Maybe they go 50 feet, 50 yards, 20 minutes into it, and suddenly they're lost. Now they're in a situation they didn't plan on. Now who plans on getting lost anyway? Yeah, today I'm going to get lost and I'm going to need to be rescued. No, because no one thinks that way. So if you do find yourself in a situation and it's dire like that, sit down again after you've done your exercise and then look and what do you have on your person? It's called the 3 C's. So check yourself out. Did you bring a pocket knife? What else you have on it? Might help you if you have to stay there. The second is about 50 yards in a circle around you. What's out here? What can I use anything out here if I have to spend the night here? And then beyond that is your path somewhere that you have to get back to. Getting lost isn't fun at all. In fact, it's very traumatic. And people that have been rescued and stuff, they're going to remember that the rest of their life. For sure. It's one of the terrible things that happen to people. And every year, thousands die from getting lost. So we don't want to be a statistic. We want to be smart. So that brings us up to what we're going to do next. And I'm going to go through the equipment and the gear that you can keep on you at all times, whether you're in a boat, a car, walking, whatever. You should always have something. And your chances of encountering a problem like this will be solved a lot easier. So now that brings us to the gear part of this video. And that's an interesting one. Gear, everyone loves gear. There's gear heads. You go out in the great outdoors, people got a lot of gear. The R is more specific, survival gear. Now, when you pick your survival gear, what time of year is it? Is it fall, spring, summer, winter? And where is it? Is it in the mountains, the desert, boreal forest, seashore, jungle? And what's the weather like when you'll be there? So all these factors come together and dictates what you bring. In other words, you wouldn't bring snow equipment to the desert in the summer, obviously. And on and on. You can get real subtle with it. But what I found out is I keep most of my packs empty except for the essentials that go through all my packs. I have 4 different types of packs. And I'll pick and choose depending on where I'm going, what time of year it is, and the weather. One pack I take all the time is a fanny pack, right here. And this is good for probably if you have water, because you can go without food for a while. This is 4 or 5 days right here. Another one I keep in my vehicle all the time is this one, a bigger pack. Still small, but a bigger pack. Carries a lot more essential gear and then other gear. And of course, if you have a vehicle, you can put whatever you want in there. So we're going to break this down now, show you more about what I take, how you take it, what's essential, and what you might want to consider if you get caught in a bad situation. So your first line of defense should be what you have on your person without any pack. And that would be a jacket with a lot of pockets. For instance, this one has 6 big pockets. Got a hood in the back, zipped in, a hood in the back. It's waterproof. And with surprisingly, I can take my small pack, if I need to, and put it all into this jacket. Put that on, and then I can load the small pack again. And we're talking about essentials here. And essentials cover 4 major things. Fire, how to make fire, how to purify water, how to make shelters, and then there's food, which is the wild card. In a sense, because some people can go 3 or 4 days without food and it's not too bad. But remember, if you have to go 3 or 4 days without food, most people, you're going to get lightheaded, your energy levels plummet, really. And it's going to be harder to deal with a survival situation. So the next pack up would be this one here from the fanny pack. Remember that? Well, you can carry enough dry stuff, dehydrated or brown rice or whatever you can, small amounts, that'll actually give you energy when you need it most. And we'll get into the essentials for that, but let's take out everything I have in this pack and see what the essentials are in here. And this has 1, 2, basically just 3 pockets. And you could strap stuff on the top, and it has a little pocket in the back. So let's check it out. First thing I bring out is a good compass. The next thing out, first aid kit. Always carry Band-Aids of different sizes and make them waterproof. Along with that first aid kit is you really want to take this, stops bleeding, bleed stop. This is really essential. You get a bad cut, slap this on, wrap it, pretty much good to go. Even if you need to stitch it, by the way. Super glue is great for that, and I do have some. Next in here is this funny looking thing. Just a can with a little bag on it. But a lot of this is essential for fire making and purifying water. Tablets for purifying water. I'll give you some more ideas about purifying water. But for now, a little candle. Once you get it started, if out the wind, you can put tinder on top of it and get that going. Of course, flashlight, duct tape on it in case you need duct tape. Jute twine, fat wood, some sticks of fat wood. Cotton balls with Vaseline. Now you can take this can, and of course I've got more tape around it, but you can take this can, purify water in it. You could punch a hole in it, drop it down. If you can't get this water, that's in cracks or whatever too. But essentially, this is great. You can cook with it, purify water. I'm not going to get a lot, but enough. This is, remember, a day pack. It goes all the time with me. Plastic bags come in handy for storing things in. This happens to be toilet paper if you need some. But again, you can take and light the duct tape. It burns really long, or paper. Take some kind of cloth. This is a handkerchief. And you know there's many things you can do with this. I always take a couple of these. They're light, they don't take up any room. Flashlight. I always prefer a headlight. Frees up your hands. And the batteries last quite a long time in here. If you can, get one with a red filter, red light that goes on off too. Because in the dark with red, you can see everything, but you don't lose your night vision. And a multi-tool. Your choice. This happens to be your Gerber. The essentials, like, of course, fire making, striker, okay, now cordage too. This is a cordage, not a lot. You don't need a lot because remember, we have a small fanny pack here and more. Now in the back I put a light stick. Comes in really handy. Will burn for 10 hours. Give you a little bit of light in close. Hand warmers. Depending where you're going, of course, but at night it can get really cold in the desert. 75 in the daytime. At night, I've been in 70-degree weather in the desert. At night, it gets down to 20. Not fun, but be prepared. You can put these in your boots, gloves, whatever. Very cool to have. Space blanket. Now you can wrap that around you like this in front of a fire and it reflect it back in. I've used something like this in 20-degree weather with fire. And again, wind is, if it's windy, it's going to be tough. But hold on to the side, bring that around, it reflects it into your body. Incredible. So that's essentially it. There must be 20 items in here. So I break it down. And that's just a fanny pack. This is going to go all the time, wherever I go. Oh yeah, I had another little item. See, you get so much room in here, you get lost. Anyway, energy bar. One energy bar. I could carry 3 or 4 more, but I'm just showing you. Okay, and we'll move on to the essentials. Now these essentials here will be shifted down to here, and they all have the essential too. And then you start adding clothes, more food, maybe water, more water, whatever you need. And as far as a fanny pack, if you have to take pills every day for a medical condition, I just got to say this so I remember it. And you're out for a week, be sure you take 2 weeks worth. Because if you, at the end of that week, you get stuck and have to be rescued, you at least have a week with your medicine. Very important. Glasses, carry an extra pair of glasses. Anything that is essential like that, carry a few more items of that. I'll bring back the pack. So moving along, the next pack that we talked about, I use this probably for a day, 2 days, overnighter. If it's warm weather, no wind, good conditions. And I took the stuff out. Let's see what this holds besides the essential. How about a poncho? This is great. You can use this for a shelter. Put it over when it's raining. Really good poncho. How about a little pillow? You blow up pillow. But you could sit on it in the snow too. Don't forget muddy areas and all that. Besides using it as a pillow. How about a down vest if it gets cold? Life straw. Purify your water through this for drink. What if there's fish around? Fishing gear. Always take a pen and pencil or a notepad. Leave messages if you need to. Saw. Small saw, but very effective. And you can bring a sheath knife. Even has a fire starter on it. Bigger light stick, longer time, more cordage, space blanket, survival blanket. And don't forget you have the essential one too. Add this to it. You got double one. This is even bigger too, and it's reflective. So if you have to signal, this might be a good one. Bigger first aid kit. And this is something we'll get into. This is surveyor's tape. And if you do get lost and you have to hike out with your compass, get into that in a later episode. But what you do is cut off a piece of this, tie it around a tree on the side with it hanging down a bit that you're passing, and going into the next tree, tie it on there, next one. So if you have to backtrack, and this is line of sight, you'll see this really easy, and you'll know you're on the right path. So that's for that pack. And it's, when I packed it in, there's so much room left in it that you can carry more water, more food, more essentials if you need to. All right, moving on. Now we get into the third pack that we're talking about. This is my 511 pack. More of a tactical look, but it's got MOLLE compatibility all around it. And it will hold everything I've showed you so far. Plus, warm weather sleeping bag. Now you wouldn't go into cold weathers with this, but you've got something. This is a small pack. A better water purifying system. Much more cordage. A bigger saw. And a small hatchet. Now you could take of course a bigger knife. I've got like 10 to choose from. But I would take a knife on my belt probably, and not in the pack. Although you could carry it in the pack. But now if I put all that gear in, I still have room for this huge reflector. This tarp here is for the ground, basically, but you could make a shelter out of it too, and it's reflective. Remember wrapping something around you during the fire? Well, this thing, you get too warm in 20 degrees with this. But you can put this on the ground in the snow, mud, whatever. Keep off the ground, put your sleeping bag on it. Great for signaling. And then you fill the pack up, the rest of it, with more food, more clothes, whatever you really need, where you're going. Don't forget, you pack according to where you're going to go, what time of year, and what the weather's like. Yeah, I forgot to mention in the last pack that we did, the 511 pack, I also carry a thing to cook in, a little tin, carry water. It's got a couple cups in it. Do your coffee in the morning with this. And a stick fire maker. This is a great little stove that you just put sticks in the bottom of it inside. Put your pan or whatever you have in it. It comes with accessories, and it's by Firebox. Great little item. You can see I've been using this for years. But it comes with a cover on the top, and you put this in, get your water boiling. And I always carry, of course, bug spray and small little can at the top. So this pack, it looks pretty big, but this is one of my favorite packs because this is probably 50 liters, 45 liters. Big, but not too big where it gets too heavy. Now, I can carry about, which I don't mind doing, 35, maybe 40 pounds. If the terrain's not too rough. You can carry a lot of gear with that. I'm not into light packing, by the way. I mean, at my age, I can still pack all day long, all week long, heavy packs. And this is what they call a Tasmanian Tiger pack. This is just a great pack. I added on these to even carry more gear. But essentially, everything we've seen can go in here, plus what I'm going to show you. How about a full-size 12 by 12 tarp? Rain pants. A much bigger saw. Now this, I've shown this before in some of the, but this is a great saw from a Boreal 21, they call it, 21-inch saw. Now you go through a substantial amount of wood with this. And of course, a little larger axe. Throw in some gloves, heavy rope, binocular, really coming in handy, looking ahead where you're going, especially if you're trailblazing. And basically, that's what I would add to that, except for more food, depending on where I'm going. Might be a down sleeping bag, whatever you need. Cold climates, you're going to add more to it. You can attach all kinds of stuff on this pack, like most packs, right? And it's got everything you need to get at right away. And that brings up an idea that when you pack your pack, be able to get to the things that are essentially you need to right away. First aid kit, flashlight, water, things that, well, I have them close by too. Waterproof pants, poncho. Things happen quick. You can get to it quick. And last but not least, it's a full-on backpacking pack. This is 60 liters. Now, this could pack 60 pounds worth. I would never do it. But now you can carry everything that you've seen here on the inside, outside, and things that are essential to what time of year it is and where you're going. Well, that concludes this video. Remember, if you get yourself in a survival situation, it's probably going to be the most terrifying thing you will experience in life. Don't let fear dictate what you're going to be doing next when you're in that situation, because you won't be doing the right thing, probably. So rely on what you've known already. Rely on the equipment you brought. But more importantly, rely on keeping your mind steady, clear, and working out the right solution for your situation. It's easy to just talk about it, but it takes practice, just like using your gear that you're using. But all of the survival gear that you have with you is not going to work at all if your mind isn't calm enough to use it. And believe me, that's going to be a challenge to stay centered and calm. So whatever you know about doing that with your mind, besides the 3 5s that we talked about, practice it. Practice meditation. Practice getting inside the quiet place inside yourself. And from that place, you decide what to do next. There's, in closing too, there's 2 programs that you should check out that are really, really neat if you haven't already. One is Survivor Man. Most people know about that. But that's probably the most authentic TV show I've seen on survival. Les is incredible about doing that, and he suffered a lot. He stopped doing it because his body couldn't take any more after 15 years of doing that, 20 years. And the other one is I Shouldn't Be Alive. And that's both are on YouTube. And that's a good one to watch and see how they got in that position. What could they have taken with them? What was their mental state like? How did they get out of it? Anyway, thank you, and be safe out there wherever you go.